Hey, Parasocials! Today I'm going to be talking about my first semester of second year, and this is going to be a three-part video which talks about Project 1, 2, and 3. This video is about Project 1. So I'm going to start with what the project is. This project was about making a box cutter. Sounds kind of boring, but it helps us develop the fundamentals of design that we need for industrial design. So with box cutter, we had to start off with our user to find out who our user is. So I chose my grandparents, and I then moved on with my user research through that. I looked at their age category, and then I looked at the things that they liked, built a few mood boards, and with those mood boards, I used them to influence my design. I focused a lot on orange and blues, as you'll see later on. After we defined who our user was, we also had to do a product analysis on something similar. So I chose a box cutter / opener from, I don't remember the brand, but it's going to be up here. And then I did a full analysis of it. I did some drawings on it, and then I did some text for it as well. I also did some other ones for different types of box openers, but I primarily focused on this one. Next, after that, we had to storyboard. So how was it used? How are you going to open the box with it, etc. Okay, so now that we've got the research out of the way, that's the basic preliminaries. We also did some research into materials, but we weren't too heavily focused into that. I decided to go with a squishy silicate for the handle, regular nylon plastic for the body so that it's acetone resistant, and then I used a plastic blade for the back, and then regular stainless steel blades, well, not the regular, they're curved in the center for the letter opener. So now we go to design development. Design development is where I started iterating and making different designs on what I thought a box cutter / opener could be. I went through many different iterations, some based off of scissors, some based off of stab and pull knives, some of them were actually just knives, and then I also tried to go with something more simple. So the one that I went with in the end was an extension of the rectangular one, which was just meant to open medicine packages from the postal service. My final design ended up including that pull movement, but it's now rotated on an axis so that it can pull across the top, and the back part has a plastic knife that can open boxes. So as you can see in my design, I used a lot of blues and oranges, blue for the handle and orange for the nylon plastic and the back knife on the back of the box opener. And then from then on, I went to make the model, and with the model, I made it out of floral foam and some tissue paper. It's not the prettiest model, but I got it done, and it had the perfect proportions to fit your hand, and I was really glad that I didn't have to go back and fix up the actual proportions of the box opener. Then I also did my orthographic images as well, which you can see, and then I'll also show the perspectives I did. Some of them were rendered, but they were all rendered on my iPad. I decided to use my iPad essentially for this entire project. Okay, so I just want to briefly go through my thoughts on this project. I really wasn't into it. I did it because I felt the need to, do good in the course, do good in the studio, and do well in the project. But I still had fun with it, so I didn't want to cop out and just do a design for the grade. So I still made it something that I thought would be interesting and something that was innovative and could be useful in the real world. Now making this actual thing in real life would be a lot more difficult because I'd have to do metalworking for the blades and make sure that the blades are aligned correctly and whatnot. And also doing potentially injection molding for nylon unless I found a nylon printer that I could use. And then the silicone mold is always tricky because you'd actually have to make the mold for it. But I think it would be a potential actual product, which is something I find exciting, that I'm only in first semester of second year, and I'm already making products that I feel like I can actually produce and make. And with that, I'm going to talk about the things I probably would have done differently on this project. I would have mainly focused on fixing the materials aspect. I would want to make it more environmentally friendly, because things like nylon don't break down in the environment easily. Though they can be recycled, it's still a difficult process. Silicon, the same thing. It's hard to recycle, and it's generally a little bit complicated to make. The thing that is recyclable really easily is the stainless steel, because metals, as always, can be melted down pretty easily and realloyed into something else, or just reused into the same metal, different form. But stainless steel and other types of steel are still massive carbon emitters in today's world. They're still massive polluters, so I definitely want to change that and focus on the materials aspect. But I'd also want to focus on the manufacturing as well, because along with materials, I want to make things as easy to manufacture and also focus on how you'd make it. This is only first semester of second year, and it was only my first project, so I didn't really have a grasp on how I could do that. But by the third project in this series, I have learned how to do that, and it's actually really exciting. So I would definitely focus on the manufacturing aspect of this, so I could potentially bring it to the market one day, or at least feel like I could. Hope you had a great time. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.